getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Muroff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is... Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
going down.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start chopper. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Hello everybody and welcome to a new season of the Radical Race Series. It's round 1 of season 1 in what will become 2024 and we're here at the Red Bull Ring for this opening round. We're actually visiting 5 different countries in the first 5 rounds of this season. It's a very diverse calendar with lots of different circuits on there, lots of different challenges over the course of what I'm sure is going to be another fantastic season. Last time out, of course, winning at the end of 2023 was Luke Maxwell to become the 3rd different driver to win a season in 2023. He took it in the final round at Knockhill against Simon Edwards. They'll all be back again, of course. Maxwell, McCutcheon and Edwards, all of whom won titles in 2023. Very much I hope you'll enjoy the racing here this evening and indeed throughout the season as well. My name is Ewan O'Leary. I'm alongside James Parfitt once again for this round of the season, and we're looking forward to be back. 1 week off for us, James, in the Radical Race Series, but we're back again with the familiar format, and it's the opening season of 2024 at the Red Bull Ring, which I think will provide a very good start to the season.
Yes, it definitely will do. We all love the Red Bull Ring and we all hate the Red Bull Ring as a driver, and that's purely due to the fact that there's some wonderful off tracks that aren't really consistent, should we say. There's a word that I was picking. Consistent of others. So they're going to have their work cut out here, I think. We could see a couple of people who might struggle. One noticeable change as well is Paul LeMay is back with his brother. He is now in the Two Brothers Racing. Back in the Two Brothers Racing team there, so Paul LeMay is back on that. And of course, we've got some new drivers, haven't we? We've got a few drivers. Ben Cooper, who is joining us. Lee Anderson, Adam Ty is another one. And obviously, then we've got the normal group, the normal traditional group after that.
Yep, it's very much a regular sort of lineup compared to, although we do have a few new drivers in this league this season. Well, hopefully for the season, at the very least for this opening round of the season, which is good to see. But the same names are at the top. You can see the top 3: Luke Maxwell, Simon Edwards, and John McCutcheon, all in those top 3 positions, and they're about half a second quicker than anyone else at the moment. So that's where you expect to see those guys, I suppose, at the front. There's a look at Leah Anderson for the first time. You can tell, by the way, that it's a new entry because there's no livery on that car, which is fine. But maybe for next week we can get one out there. Although it is identifiable in the fact that it is the only one on the grid with no livery, so I wouldn't mind keeping it that way either.
Yeah, that would be ideal. I know we had a bit of an issue with Darryl Taylor towards the back end of last season as well. That was causing us a little issue. Darryl swore blind that he had his Skittles livery on. I said, Darryl, it was not there. Me and Ewan could not see Skittles. We just saw a black one there as well. Welcome in, Phil. Thank you so much for joining us, carrying on the hashtag of Keep Fighting Craig as well. There was an update regarding Craig Jones earlier on as well that I found out from his lovely wife Gemma. Craig is awake. He is awake and talking, so that's great. He seems to be okay at the moment. I'm going down there to see him tomorrow, but at the moment, touch wood, Craig Jones is awake and talking, which is absolutely amazing after, of course, his cardiac arrest on Monday. So thank you so much, Phil, for carrying on. As I say, he is up and awake, which is great news for everybody in the JPB community in general, including other leagues as well. But qualifying is going to be interesting here, Ewan. Who's your prediction? If I said to you, right, pick a winner, who are you going to pick?
A winner or a pole sitter is...
do either or, if you really...
either or.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. For pole, I'm going to go for Luke Maxwell, I think. But, well, you don't really get a single winner here, but I get what you mean. I'm going to go Simon Edwards to take the opening round of the season in terms of taking most points, that is. He might not win a round, or win a race, sorry, but I think he might, well, score the most points over the course of this evening. Okay. Just a hunch I've got, really. Nothing more than that. He will be disappointed, of course, and looking to bounce back, I guess, from the disappointment at the end of season 4. He's now not won a title for 3 seasons, which is the longest stretch he's had of not winning titles since he began in the final season of 2021. He won his first championship in this series 2 years ago, almost to the week, and he has not had a stretch like this ever since that happened. So he'll be looking to bounce back this season and get himself back on the champions list again at the end of season 1 in 2024.
It's going to be an interesting one for Edwards. I'd love to see how he bounces back. He hasn't, as you said, he hasn't won the championship for 3 seasons. It's going to be interesting. One man I do want to keep a close eye on. Obviously for Luke Maxwell, is he going to come out and defend his ground, right? That's an important one. Is he going to come out? Is he going to be able to defend his ground? Is he going to settle down and think, right, I've got this here as well? He's purple at the moment, so this could be a good start for Maxwell. One of the people I do want to keep an eye on, though, as well, will be James Barry. He was so close up until the last, 3 rounds, and then he dropped off a little bit. So for James Barry, I'd love to see how he gets on and recovers as well. But it is obviously we're going to be keeping out on the new guys, Lee Anderson, Adam Ty and Ben Cooper, to see what they're able to do. But it's looking like Maxwell has opened up his account, going over the line fastest out of everyone on a 1:26.136.
Yep, that's the benchmark for everybody to beat, although we're about well, we're into the 25s in practice, put it that way, so we'll be expected to go a little bit quicker. Liam Anderson goes second at the moment with a 27.0. Ben Cooper up there ahead of Paul Crabb, who's not set a representative first time, I wouldn't say. Simon Edwards 6/10 off Maxwell himself, so that's a really flying opening lap time from Luke Maxwell, the defending champion, who's still more than half a second quicker than anybody else at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. He's doing a stellar job out on a 1:26.14. David Walters. Oh, David, I know from the Radical Race Series is here. So, well done, David. Thank you very much. He's another one who won as well. Simon Edwards, Lee Anderson, Ben Cooper. Crab, Jocelyn, Woodward. Obviously, we've got Martina Ward back as well. We've got the likes of Michael LeMay and Paul LeMay. I'd be interested to see how Paul gets on as well. He's back in that famous livery with his name on Ewan, so we can't get that wrong like we did many times last season with the I-Lounge Racing boys, who, between him and Paul Clark, completely went wrong. I mean, you couldn't really tell the difference half the time. But Paul LeMay is back. He's got his name on the livery. He should be blue and red, and Michael should be red. There you go. That's the difference. We should be good.
Well, I hope so, but now he's similar to Michael LeMay, isn't he? Well, I can't actually
look for the white arches.
Yeah. I can tell the difference between those two a little bit better, so I'm pleased about that. But across the line goes Paul LeMay, and he goes up to what was second, but is now third, because Graham Brown has gone into the lead of the session. From what I can see at the moment, Simon Edwards will go over the line and needs an improvement here to get himself out from the mid-pack, and he's done just that. 26.0 for him in qualifying at the moment. It's very, very close. 4 drivers separated by a tenth and a half.
Absolutely, it always is. To be fair, we never really break that second gap, and we're not breaking the second right the way down to Lee Anderson in 13th here. So this could be really, really exciting. There looks like some people have got their practice going. Martina Ward sitting up in 7th place at the moment as well. Luke Maxwell is now down to 3rd, but he has got a purple in that first sector. I think we could be on for a barnstorming season here, you, and this could be a good, nice little 4-5-way fight going into the last round.
I think it's going to be a good opening day fight, certainly with the closeness of the field and the racing you get around the Red Bull ring as well really lends itself to that. You can get a lot of slipstream round here, and that will certainly help through the final couple of corners for Luke Maxwell now, who's set a purple sector in number 1 and 2. He's just got on the brakes there late, though, through the final turn. I'm not sure he's going to improve now. Well, if he does, it's going to be massive. And it is. Oh, it's massive. 3.5 tenths or so. And Luke Maxwell takes this qualifying by the scruff of the neck. And I think he could have gone a bit faster during that lap.
Yeah, I think he could have done as well. It was just on that last corner. He did drift there and lose and scrub some speed off. So it'd be interesting to see if he's still got more in the bank there. James Barry sitting in 5th at the moment with Adam Tyne, who just gone up into 6th. David Walters in 7th. There was talk of a pro and am split. I remember we were discussing it last towards the back end of last season, and obviously that didn't materialise. So unfortunately, all of these guys are going to be fighting it out. George Gonzaga is back here as well. Oh, he's in a new livery. That's not going to be too confusing for us.
What are you doing?
I know, he's gone and chosen something else. Phil Jocelyn, he's in a different livery as well. He's on the right-hand side in the yellow. Oh, man, this is all going to go a little bit Pete Tong for me and you. Phil Glover's still in the Castrals. Jamie Bird, he's still in his black. What about Damien G? He's all good. So at the moment, there's only certain people who have changed here, Ewan, and, well, we should be all good.
There's a few culprits, but there we are. I think Jocelyn's got a Metallica sponsored car, by the way. Did I see that on the side, or am I reading wrong? Phil Jocelyn, we were just seeing in the yellow and black a couple of moments ago. Is he sponsored by Metallica these days?
Yes.
Oh, he is, okay. Clearly he's a fan or something. Maybe, who is it? Graham Brown should get Bruce Springsteen on the side or something? I don't know.
Paul Clark.
Paul Clark, sorry. Sorry, everyone's...
how can you forget Paul Clark? He went travelling off around Europe.
Sorry. I know, I'm not very good with remembering musical names and who's a fan of which. So I apologise for that.
Was Paul Clark. I've double checked myself. It is Paul Clark and Bruce Springsteen.
Okay. Okay. I'm glad we got that right, because someone might find that insulting, I suppose. Anyway, James Barry comes over the line, and he's 4th, where he ended last season, ironically, in the championship. He's ahead, though, of John McCutcheon, who's not qualified so well here. He's down in 7th at the moment. He's got time to turn it around, of course, but he's a long way back for the moment. I thought he might be enthused by his football team, Aberdeen, winning earlier tonight, but clearly not. He's down in 7th at the moment and seems to be struggling a bit.
They win, did they? Oh.
Yeah.
Well done, Aberdeen.
First time in Europe in 16 years, I read earlier, apparently, on the internet.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's true.
Who knows?
So he'll be pleased, but not pleased with this qualifying. I'm very surprised about this. It's not only the fact he's 7th, it's the fact that he's more than half a second off Luke Maxwell that's concerning for him.
Yeah, but have you seen Buson as well? It seems like the Radline boys are struggling a little bit here. Paul Crabb's only just gone up a couple of positions as well. So I don't know if they've shared setups. I don't really know what the answer is on that one. Luke Maxwell is back in the pit lane. Simon Edwards is still going. He's not going to have enough time to complete that final lap. James Barry is coming around the final corner as well. And let's see how James gets on. He is behind Michael LeMay. He's got a purple in the middle. Is he going to go and up it again? Over the line, he's not. He's got a yellow. Goes into 2nd. Wow.
Good time. And the 3rd driver to get below the 126s. James Barry putting in a good opening performance, nearly smashing into someone who's stopped on the exit of turn 1 there, but that was a good end to the session for James Barry. Look, is anyone else improving? Not really. Leah Anderson down in 14th at the moment, and that's a long way back from the practice times, but the practice times really haven't been very representative of what we've seen in qualifying here. We saw quite a few drivers in the 25s. We've only got 3 here, and Luke Maxwell is far and away the best of them. Excuse me, in the session at the moment. He'll be on pole ahead of James Barry, Simon Edwards and David Walters with a great 4th place there in qualifying as well. There's Graham Brown in 5th ahead of Paul LeMay. John McCutcheon down in 7th, disappointingly. Martina Ward alongside him. Adam Ty, one of the new drivers, is alongside Paul Crabb inside the top 10. George Gonzaga and Ben Cooper round out row 6. On row 7, it is Mike Booston and Leah Anderson, another new driver. Michael LeMay and Paul Robert Woodward is in 26th. Phil Johnson and Jamie Bird are on row 9, head of Jamie G. And Phil Glover, who once again struggles with qualifying on this occasion, and he's down in 20th. A good grid, though. I'm very much looking forward to getting this season underway. What is a very close qualifying session and a circuit where you can draft off of one another very easily, keeping racing hopefully close right till the end.
Yeah, hopefully it will be as well. You know, with 13 drivers in within a second, it's going to be very, very exciting. I think this is something that is going to open... Oh, excuse me. Oh. Open up a great season here. And let's see how we go, as the lights will be coming on very shortly.
Yeah, it's McCutcheon and Booton who are often the final to say that they're ready. Everyone else seems to just press grid whenever they're ready, but McCutcheon and Booth would like to take all of the 2 minutes that they're allocated at the start of these races. 10 laps it will be for the opening race of the Radical Race Series 2024 campaign. A couple of weeks early, of course, but we're ready to go racing already here at the Red Bull Ring. It's race 1 of season 1 in 2024, and we're underway at the Red Bull Ring. Somebody doesn't get away. It's Paul Crabb who gets smashed in the rear by Jamie Bird. Damien G unfortunately gets involved as well, as it's free wide into turn 1. David Walters into second place with a great start, as James Barry got pinched on the inside. He's shuffled back to 4th, and now goes side by side briefly with Simon Edwards, who himself is looking for second place. Been towards turn 3 they go now. James Barry on an impossibly tight line. Free wide of the inside here, and it's a great overtake from him. A look-up from Simon Edwards means he slips to 3rd again. It's Walters who's going backwards now, though. He's back to 5th, and he's side by side with John McCutcheon, who's making up places here. What a lively start this is, as Simon Edwards goes to the outside again, this time at turn 4 on this circuit.
Oh,
John McCutcheon's off into the gravel.
Oh, McCutcheon's off. Ben Cooper risking to be looking like he may have had something to do with that. That start was not ideal. And for Luke Maxwell, he has gone, thank you very much. I am on my bike and opened up 2.2 seconds. I think we're going to watch Crabb go absolutely nowhere. And if he's gone anywhere, he's gone to the left. He went nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Oh, Jamie Bird straight into the back with Damien G from then on as well. Damien come up, literally tried to get away at the beginning, didn't go anywhere, and had another incident unfortunately there for Damien G. Robert Woodward coming down into Schloss Gold has gone and unfortunately done it all a little bit wrong as well. He's had an incident coming in. There you go, slight little contact there as well. Michael LeMay, another one who also unfortunately got himself involved in a little ta-ta-ta here alongside Bill Glover, but it all went a little bit Pete-tong for Ben Cooper and John McCutcheon, who I believe there John did get tapped.
Separate.
Yeah, separate incidents.
They were separates. So it wasn't Cooper who tapped McCutcheon, it was someone else who got into him. And who was the culprit? It's a bit of an awkward one actually. Is that I don't know who that is.
Adam Tye.
Okay, Adam Tye, he looks remarkably similar to Paul Crabb from the air, but anyway, that was the bit of contact. And there's, oh my word, 3 wide in the background with Woodward, Ward and Gonzaga. That was aggressive from Robert Woodward. Chops off the nose of Martina Ward, but still down the inside here and going for this. No, can't quite get down the inside, but Woodward leaves the space anyway. And they're still going for this. I think there's a bit of damage to the front end of Ward's car actually, but who doesn't have damage at this stage? It's been a very lively opening to this race. Free wide again into the penultimate turn. Mike Booster doesn't know where to go here, and he does get ahead of Ward at least into the penultimate corner. This is a very lively start. Oh, and there's a crash. It's Gonzaga who loses it at the final turn and gets straight into Robert Woodward, and into the car goes Leo Anderson, who goes tipping, rolling over and over again. Gonzaga's got no front left wheel. Leo Anderson's got no front bumper at all. What a messy start this is to the season. Up
in the air, he literally, Lee Anderson literally rode George Gonzaga there, and Gonzaga unfortunately, and nothing he could do. Lee just come around the corner absolutely flying and went straight into him there as well. So James Barry still holding on to this second place at the moment, and then further down we've got Martina Ward as well, who is also holding on to once more to 9th, but with Mike Bousson and Phil Jocelyn behind. So it's all got a little bit messy at the moment here, and I wonder if this is the opening round jitters.
Could be. I'm not really sure what it's down to be honest, because this is pretty rare to see this amount of chaos in the opening moments of any race, really, never mind the opening round of the season. But this has been chaotic so far. It's all played into the hands of Luke Maxwell, who is leading by nearly 3 seconds now. Ahead of James Barry, Simon Edwards, Graham Brown and Paul LeMay, all of whom are in the top 5 and in that leading train that I thought was going to be for the lead earlier, actually, but doesn't seem to be the case. Unfortunately, we've got only 14 who haven't visited the pit lane yet or been in some kind of problems so far today because of the start that we've had. Hopefully now we'll start to calm down, though, at the start of lap 4 here of this opening round of the season.
Yeah, looks like my boy Phil Glover's had a little bit of a moment as well. Adam Tide, David Walters going side by side on that run up into Remus now, which is effectively turn 2, depending on who you speak to. And now Walters has squeezed Tide there as well. He's nearly took his nose off. Did David Walters coming down now into Schlossgold. Turn 3, left-hander downhill, Ewan. We've seen many a spin here, many incidents. And Adam Tide looking like he's trying to come back underneath David Walters there, just not quite getting it done as they go running off around the ball, of course, around by Roush and Worth. But interesting fights. As I say, Robert Woodward looks like he's had another incident, so does Phil Glover, and it looks like it's all got a little bit messy.
Looks like it. Woodward down to 14th again at the end of that one. Glover in the pit lane, but coming back out again. Damien G and Leo Anderson seem to be routed to the pit lane, unfortunately, and they may well both be out of the opening race of the season, unfortunately, picking up just 1 and 2 points respectively for their efforts. Top 20 get points in this opening race of a day, so that's what they've got to deal with, I'm afraid, over the course of the opening round of this season. John McCutcheon back to 11th as well. We normally saw last season how good John McCutcheon was at gaining places throughout the races because he didn't qualify so much last season. But he made up for it in the races. Unfortunately, that's not happened so far as James Barry and Simon Edwards go side by side there, and they're remaining side by side. Barry held on through turn 3, but is he able to hang on at turn 4 as well? Not sure. Edwards is on the outside, but has his more than his nose in front now and may be able to take the position in towards the off turn, and does. So a change for second place for Simon Edwards getting into that position as they drop the others. It's now a 2-car fight for that position.
Yeah, coming down into turn 3 there, Edwards did get up the inside of Barry. I want to see how Barry recovers from this. He needs to have some of that fighting spirit that, you know, he was so close last season. And I think it wasn't it like round 9 or something? He kind of had a little bit of a decline and just declined to the point where he ended up 25, 30 points back, which was such a shame. We did say he was going to be strong if he could carry on for the whole season. He did carry on for the whole season, had a dip in form right at the end. It was almost like Tottenham Hotspur dipping right at the end of the season like they seem to do every season. Well, the only good thing is they've had a dip this time at Christmas as John McCutcheon holds on to that position. He's in 10th at the moment, Ewan, sitting on pole position for race 2, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the important place to be. So McCutcheon at least has managed that, but he won't want to find himself in the situation again of being sort of doing badly in the first race and then winning the second one, because it doesn't get you quite as enough points as you need. As McCutcheon found out last season, he ended up 3rd. Just running short of points, really, especially because he missed the penultimate round, which really did hurt him. Not that I thought he could have won the title anyway. It was certainly a long shot for him to retain and go 3 in a row in the Radical Race Series last season. So 9th place for him. No knockhill this season either, I think it's worth noting. We're on lap 6 at the moment and things have slightly calmed down. No knockhill though, because there's no Nordschleife on the official schedule from what I can see this season, and so there's no sort of race chosen by the by the champions of the series. So we've got a 12 race calendar not decided by anybody but decided by the officials instead, and no knockhill either because John McCutcheon would have been deciding anyway. Wonder what Maxwell would have decided if it was up to him, but he doesn't have to. We've got 12 great races this season and they're all at the circuits that we're going to in the officials as well. Some of the usual names are back again, like Bathurst, which is back on the calendar, and Spa as well, seemingly the 50,000th time in a row that we're going to those circuits.
I do agree. I will have to make a little correction if you don't mind this, sir. Nordschleife is actually week 2, but they have voted it out for Imola. So we're actually going to Imola in week 2, and not Nords, which is next week's one. Yeah, the interesting one for me will be week 5. Week 5, if we are staying on the official calendar at week 5, which we are, we're off to Tsukuba. Oh, in the Radicals. That is going to be amazing.
I'm not the biggest fan of Tsukuba myself, but I'm interested to see how it goes. I don't think we've been there. It's certainly not in the time I've been commentating on this series. We've not been there before, so yeah, it'd be cool to go there and see how the racing goes around there. I thought that they would pick Mugello rather than Imola, since that's the new circuit on the calendar. But you're right, it does say Imola in the
for a vote
schedule.
I believe there was a vote, and they voted for Imola. I'm also aware, though, if I'm not mistaken here, Mugello is currently having some mad FPS issues. I know they were looking into it at the moment, but people have said since they go in at a certain point of the circuit, especially in VR, they end up down at like 15 FPS until they get out the other side of this point of the circuit, and then they recover back to what they normally should be. So at the moment, I know Mugello has a little bit of an issue as we're side by side here with Mike Buisson and Adam Ty. Buisson's going to go up the inside. He's going to try and run Ty out a little bit wide, get him over the sausage curb if he can, and get him to back off just a little bit. But it's going to be side by side as they head down into turn 3.
Yeah. It's going to be side by side, and it's going to be Buisson that prevails here ahead of Ty, who's stuck up on the outside line there and not going to be able to take that position at the moment. There'll still be 2 laps to go at the end of this one in the sprint race. Luke Maxwell currently leading it by 3.5 seconds ahead of Edwards and Barry. I wonder what could happen in this second race though, because I don't think he's 3.5 seconds quicker on pace. It has mostly come down to that opening lap of the race, Luke Maxwell, where he was already 2.5 seconds ahead of his rivals in the lead because of all the fighting that was going on at turn 1 and turn 3, especially at turn 4. So it gave him a big lead, and I wonder what he can do in the second race. Can he work his way through the order as well as he's driven out front here in this sprint race? Yeah, well, the question will be, can he or can he not, as Martina Ward and Adam Ty are going side by side. Ward's gone through up into turn 1. Absolutely stellar run from Martina Ward. Had a good end to the season last season as well. Did a really good one. She got the race victory spoiled by Simon Edwards, and who showed no remorse whatsoever for taking the victory away from Martina Ward. He was like, I was going for it, and we were like, okay. So, but yeah, very unlucky, but good end towards the season, and sitting in 7th at the moment. So it seems to be building on what she built towards the end of last season. To be fair, Ewan, maybe if she could make every single race, she might have a really good one. Yep, it's possible for a top 10 in the championship, for example, for Martina, I think, and a top 10 here will start off quite nicely. But let's see, not speed too soon maybe for this race, because there's still a lap to go at the end of this one, and a long way to go around here because of those around her at the moment. Buisson just up in front in 6th place, losing the rear end of Walters slightly in 5th. And it's Ty, and then McCutcheon, who I think is going to feel that this race is a lap or two a little bit short, because he's going to get there on the last lap. I'm not sure he's going to have many chances, if any, to make any overtakes, though. No, I don't think he's going to be able to. I think for what I would do for John is just sit where I am at the moment and consolidate at 9th place. You're going to start on the front row. It gives you an option to try and catch up, of course, you know, with the point situation by taking that win, but it's going to be tough. I think he's just not quite looking on the pace. Buisson again, he's up 7 places, but a lot of it was caused by chaos that was going on around him. Has he got the pace to deal with that running at the front on the reverse? Well, we're going to find out and see, but I think some people are struggling here for such what they classify as almost a simple circuit.
It's not really that simple. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the thing. It is simple, but it's not when you're driving it, if that makes any sense.
It looks simple on paper, yeah. It's only got 10 turns, for example, and one of them shouldn't really count. And so it is on paper an easy circuit, but it's certainly not when you're there driving it. At the moment, though, Luke Maxwell has mastered it. He's even put a lap on Paul Crabb in 15th place. It's been a messy race further behind him, but he has stepped into the limelight, taken advantage of everything that's gone on behind him, and he's won the opening race of the Radical Race Series for Season 1 in 2024 here at the Red Bull Ring. Simon Edwards will hold off James Barry for second as well in a podium that was to be expected. John McCutcheon, though, down in 9th place. It looks like too little too late for him to make up any overtakes, and for Robert Woodward as well.
He's trying his Woodward, though. He's given Michael LeMay a good old think about what he's going to do, and he didn't quite manage to get through on the inside of turn 8. I know it should be effectively 9, but I'm not really counting turn 2. No. As it goes over the line, Woodward didn't quite make it through. Ben Cooper comes over the line in 13th, finishing his first race. Then, of course, we've got Jamie Bird, George Gonzaga and Phil Glover, who all got themselves involved in their own little ta-ta-tas, should we say, as the opening race has gone on. So, hopefully, Paul Crabb will be back to being in the car at the start, so we don't have any more of that issue. Hopefully he didn't have a tech issue, but he definitely had some form of issue there because, well, it kind of threw people out right at the beginning, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. He hasn't said, so we'll find that one out at the end of the day, I think. But it's not a good start to the season for him, or indeed Jamie Bird, who smashed straight into him off of the start there. Let's hope for a cleaner start to the second race of the evening, as Jamie Bird, I think, slides his way into turn 1 at the end of the race. That is everyone over the line, and it's Luke Maxwell who takes the win ahead of Simon Edwards and James Barry, who battled to the line. Paul LeMay finished a lowly 4th place, and David Walters, who got away from the rest for 5th, actually. Mike Poussin held off Martina Ward, Adam Tighe and John McCutcheon in that group. Phil Johnson will be on reverse grid pole. Michael LeMay just missed out there by about 6 seconds or so. He came over the line with Robert Woodward. Ben Cooper and Jamie Bird were the final drivers to finish on the lead lap, with Graham Brown finishing 1 lap down, as did Paul Crabb, George Gonzaga and Phil Glover. Leah Anderson was 2 laps down, Damien G 9 laps down, and after an unfortunate opening lap to his season. That's the opening 10 laps of the season complete. 17 coming up for the feature race very soon, and Phil Johnson's on pole, but I think the one that's really going to be the one to watch is John McCutcheon, who's starting on that front row. If he is if he's leading at the end of lap 1, he could have a very big lead by the end of the first feature race of the season. Much like what Luke Maxwell did in the sprint race, I think McCutcheon might try and do something similar in this second race.
Has he got the pace? That is the worry. Has John got the pace in that SR10 to pull away like Maxwell did? If he doesn't have the pace, he's going to be caught. So we're going to have to see how he gets on and whether or not he's got the pace. I think he's struggling here at the Red Bull. It wasn't John McCutcheon-esque in race 1. Struggled to come through, and I'm hoping it was just a blip in the system. He'll make a change to the setup and see if he can get a little bit more pace out the car. But he wasn't looking strong there, Ewan, I've got to be honest.
I think in a straight fight, he may well lose out to the others that were up at the front in the opening race. But if he's given a head start, like he might well be in this second race, I think he might be okay. He might well take the win. Let's see, though, at the end of 17 laps, anything can happen, especially off the start, as we saw in race 1. It was absolutely manic, so let's see what happens. Phil Johnson and John McCutcheon will be on that front row indeed, and Adam Tighe and Martina Ward. Mike Poussin and David Walters will be on row 3 ahead of Paul LeMay and James Barry. Simon Edwards and Luke Maxwell will round out the top 10 with Michael LeMay and Robert Woodward on row 6. Then in row 7, it's going to be Ben Cooper and Jamie Bird, Graham Brown and Paul Crabb behind them, with George Gonzaga, Phil Glover, Leah Anderson and Damien G rounding out the 20-car grid for this second race. Those at the back, of course, looking for a cleaner start than what we saw in the opening race. There was a lot going on, and not in a good way, unfortunately, for many. Lots of people grinning up nice and early on this occasion. Martina Ward, Jamie Bird's gone back to the pit lane for whatever reason to sort something. But it seems that everybody is back now, hopefully Damien G as well, and we are ready to go racing. 17 laps, it's the second race at the Red Bull Ring in the opening round of the Radical Race Series for Season 1 of 2024. Phil Jocelyn versus John McCutcheon off the line, and it's McCutcheon who wins it, but Walters who gets off to the best start. He's gone from row 3 to the lead almost. Inside line at turn 1, decides better of it, and he's tapped by Martina Ward. Round he goes at turn 1, and unfortunately there's chaos behind as Walters drops to the back.
David Walters, he got a barnstormer. Absolutely barnstormed the start. And unfortunately there, it was almost taking it free wide. He should have been braver here. He tried backing up, come across, and Martina Ward just taps him round there as well. And unfortunately that also affected, I believe, that was Leo Anderson. No, it wasn't Leo Anderson. I think it was Phil Glover, or Phil Jocelyn, sorry, who also got affected by that. But Mike Bousson is in the lead as well. So Mike has gone past John, which we missed there, looking at that one. So for Mike Bousson, it'll be interesting. We'll have a look back to see how he got past John McCutcheon here once more. But how did Mike Bousson clear John McCutcheon? It was he. Looked like John may have had a slowdown there coming out of turn 1, and that is how Mike got through. Can Mike take the victory? Well, the answer hopefully might be yes, but we'll have to see, as Luke Maxwell sitting in 6th place already.
Squandered a great opportunity there. Did McCutcheon to get away, but then again Bousson would have been right behind him anyway. So would Edwards and James Barry as well. So most of the top contenders have gotten to the front at the end of just one lap. Luke Maxwell's 6th, and he only needs one more place to be with the others. At the front, Martina Ward's off at turn 1. The first incident at turn 1 was not her fault at all, by the way. I think you're right, it was Walters coming across on her. Unfortunately, she's misjudged that, and she's down to the back now at the exit of turn 1. It's 3 wide further back, by the way, with all sorts going on back here. It's between everybody not in the top 10, basically. Down on the brakes they go, and prevailing out of all of it will be Graham Brown, head of Leo Anderson, Phil Glover and Damien G. Walters will join in with this, as will Ward, after their respective problems. But out front, John McCutcheon now leads. Mike Bousson has gone down to 2nd, and Edwards is right on the back of him, looking to help his teammate maybe by defending here into turn 6. Is that going to be possible? No. Edwards goes right round the outside and will now follow McCutcheon, and he's going to be challenging him surely for the rest of the race.
Yeah, he's going to be putting him under pressure. What can John do? As I said, he got a slowdown coming out of turn 1 here. He looks like from race 1, as we said, he looks like he's struggling. Bousson wasn't exactly looking speedy as we've seen previously, so maybe both of them are struggling. Bousson's already under pressure from James Barry, who's going to be, this is going to be a move into turn 1 here from James Barry. He's got to be looking at surely making this move if he can, and he's got to be looking at pulling out. I would have thought he would have been a go. Maybe it's going to be up into Remus in turn 2. He's got a better run. You've got to go for it, James. You've got nowhere else to go, and he does pull out alongside, and it is going to be a job done for James Barry there as well. So a stellar job from James. Moves himself up into 3rd. There's battles all the way down here. As you can see, Woodward and Paul LeMay as well. LeMay's gone through. Then you've got Crab and Bird. Crab's trying to go up the inside. Then you've got Michael LeMay losing a position to Graham Brown. You've got Martina Ward, who's gone past Phil Glover. David Walters is already back up to 17th and doing an exceptional job. So, yeah, there's action all the way through, and I'm not quite sure where we should be looking at the moment, to be honest.
Well, there is action going on everywhere at the moment. Michael LeMay not able to find his way around the outside of Leo Anderson into turn 4 on that occasion. John McCutcheon now, by the way, with a second's lead. Bousson has been displaced by Edwards and now James Barry as well, and doesn't seem to have the pace of them, to be honest. But are they close enough to McCutcheon to keep with him at the moment? Not sure. The group from 7th on back is headed by Adam Ty at the moment, and it involves almost everyone in the midfield, all the usual suspects with regards to that, and the slipstream keeping them close again, although I've got to say the slipstream has been slightly less powerful than I was expecting here today. it has still been all right for racing here at the Red Bull Ring. LeMay will now look for his way through here on Adam Tight and should get that into turn 1.
Yeah, he should get the job done. Can he hold it? That's going to be the thing. There was a dive further back as well. Robert Woodward nearly lost that position to George Gonzaga, who is in the different coloured livery. That's not going to cause us too much of an issue here, hopefully, as well. But then we've got Phil Jocelyn, who's got Leo Anderson and Graham Brown now as they're running side by side up into turn 3, up into turn 2. Not the most easiest corner. Uphill braking. If you hit that bump, you're going to struggle on the inside a little bit. But for Phil, Jocelyn looks like he's got that handled. Anderson's trying to come around the left-hand side, around the outside as they're running down into turn 3. Again, not an easy corner. You've got to run it in deep and run it around the outside. And as the terminology goes, hope it sticks. Doesn't stick for Anderson, trying to get the grip and running around it now as well. If Jocelyn just opened up the steering a little bit, that would have gave Anderson something to think about, who is now trying to go up the inside of Roush as well. Some great battles happening here, and Simon Edwards and James Barry have also come together, Ewan. It's going to be an interesting fight for the next, 13 laps.
It is going to be, but unfortunately for them, it's not going to be for the win. I wouldn't imagine if they're fighting like this for second place, then it's going to mean Booston's going to slip back here, and sorry, Booston already is slipping back. I should say McCutcheon is going to be getting away from them, and he did on that lap 4 attempts quicker than Edwards, for example, and that wasn't even his best attempt of the race so far in John McCutcheon there. Edwards pulls off to the side. Is it a slowdown? It looks like it is. No, he is just breaking the slipstream by the looks of it, but I really thought he had a slowdown there. Clearly not. James Barry might have thought that as well, because he didn't try and follow him for the slipstream either.
No, he didn't either. He looked like he made it. I think he just kind of thought Edwards had that slowdown, so therefore he wasn't no need to follow him here as well. You can see Maxwell losing time a little bit to Buson. He's not really where I thought he would be. We did question whether or not he would have the pace, as Gonzaga and Bird have gone side by side as well, running around Sloshko Gonzaga on the inside. Then they've got the Irishman and Paul Crabb tucking up behind them here. This could be a very interesting fight, this one, Ewan, with these 3 guys, both of them round about the same pace. They had some good battles, and I think they're going to carry on this for the season, these 3, because I think they're probably not far off pace together. And Gonzaga, we know he had that more aggression towards him at the end of last season, which was great to see. And you know, he even said himself he felt good. He come in and he knew, and he well, weirdly enough, he was thinking about what I was saying up in the booth about him, to be honest. But I think his aggression needs to come out more, and I think that's going to be one that we're going to be definitely looking out for. However, Barry and Edwards are still going at it here.
This is the battle for second place between the two of them. It's Edwards and Barry again. They were running like this for most of the first race, in second and third actually. Edwards got through in the first half, and then Barry could never come back at him really, or about the halfway mark, and then Barry could never get back again. It didn't even give it a go on the last lap. It wasn't like he was waiting for his opportunity, it just never came for him. Now, will it be possible into turn 2? Well, half-heartedly he goes for it, and Edwards gives the room, sort of had to there, and Barry stuffs it down the inside anyway. He's got the inside, but Simon Edwards has got the outside, and that will give him the position again. So he retains second place, but this is better from Barry. He's giving a bit more of a challenge than he did in that opening race.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely amazing. As we give you a minute to tie his dentures in there as well. Once more, we've all been there where we've lost completely. Our teeth didn't think as our brain did. But Barry now...
I don't think no one would notice.
Sorry, mate, but we've been far too easy. Not to. So there we go. I tried to think how many seasons we've been together. Good, to be honest. What was it, end of 22?
I don't remember anymore.
I think so.
To be honest.
End of 22, and we're now coming into 24. But Barry here, I'm liking this from James Barry. I'm liking the way he's battling away. I'm liking the fact that Edwards is dragging him up to McHutchinson as well. And I'm thinking that if these two can just settle down a minute, if James needs to get you know, I was going to say get a signal to Simon to say I'm not fighting you, but that's kind of counteracted straight away. As Phil Jocelyn and David Walters looks like they've had a moment here as well. But just watch this, how this plays out going down into turn 3. Edwards on the fall, trying to get really defensive again. Barry's got the option. He's now got boost on. Maxwell's now caught up. Just literally 2 laps ago, we were saying how Maxwell didn't look like he was catching up. Now he's right in it because of the way that Edwards and boost on Barry are fighting here. And it looks like Adam Ty and Damien G may have had a little bit of a contact as well.
They have. Was it Damien G? Was it someone else? He was going side by side with someone. Was Adam Ty. It's a spin for G, but I hope that he's sort of out the way of everyone there. I think he is. I think it's separate for Adam Ty. It is. So side by side in front with LeMay and another driver. And Adam Ty's got this wrong on his own. Yeah. He's got into the gravel and he's hit the wall as well. A disappointing second race on debut for Adam Ty, unfortunately. But it's a mistake that's very easy to make at turn 4.
Yeah, this is Phil Jocelyn and David Walters. Oh, Jocelyn got close there. Oh, I think that was Michael LeMay. He got very close to hit the brakes, spun the car up, and unfortunately went round there. And David Walters kind of had nowhere to go, to be honest with him. Ben Cooper, this is the one who's got Robert Woodward and George Gonzaga trying to catch up to them as well. In that is Paul LeMay, who's trying to also have a go. But we're now going to get a 3-car, 4-car battle, maybe 5, if they can just get up to McHutchinson. And they pulled out literally 3 attempts over him last time around as well, with Barry going up the inside, trying there. He's tried it a couple of times, just not quite got the pace to carry it out around the outside.
Not quite. It's a problem with the inside there. You don't want to be on the outside necessarily because the camber does go away from you, but also it's pretty difficult to run out wide if you're on the inside there, as we've seen in the past, because the camber of the road does take you there and you don't want to be making contact, otherwise you'll land yourself in trouble as well. So it's a difficult one. LeMay and Cooper have gone side by side in a bizarre place, by the way. They're going towards the final couple of corners right now. Robert Woodward's not afraid of getting pretty wide either, trying to go through the middle. LeMay straight down the inside. That's Paul LeMay. Oh, and he's in the pit lane. What's going on here for Paul LeMay? He works his way down the pit lane for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. Surely he hasn't reached an incident limit or something, has he? I'm not sure.
Well, I don't want to be a party pooper here, but it could be a possibility. It is a possibility for Paul LeMay as well. He has got to slow down a drive through already as Simon Edwards and James Barry once more. Barry got a little bit of a better run out of turn 2. He needs to have this car well alongside Simon Edwards. He needs to have it so that when he comes out of this turn, he can just open up his steering a little bit. Not going to get there. Not going to get... Well, he nearly got there, but that was nearly into the back end of Edwards there as well for James Barry, so he's going to have to be a little bit careful. As you can see behind now, we've got Mike Bousson tucked up right behind him as well, so it's all going to get very, very interesting in it if they can just keep up with McHutchison. They've got 8 laps, they pulled him down to 1.3. They've just got to try and stay together and not fight. If Barry can use his head just a little bit, don't fight with Edwards. There's no point. Use Edwards to pull you up to John McHutchinson, and I think that's probably what Simon Edwards is praying for as well.
That is a big group now, 4 of them, and there's 4 in the other group as well, with Cooper and Gonzaga this time going side by side into the final couple of corners. Gonzaga and Crab have both gone off though, by the looks of it, and Crab is continuing to fall down the order. There's something that's gone on back there, I'm afraid, that we'll try and get a look at through the final corner. Again, Crab it is at least, and it's a bit of a mess back here. Side by side, just up in front of them, Gonzaga on the inside in the sort of blue, and then there's Cooper as well. Crab gets straight into the back of Gonzaga. That was a bit clumsy from Paul Crab, and then I guess he doesn't have any space to turn around again as he's trying to get back underway. Side by side again they go, but that's all sort of settled down now in the second group. It means for the last 7 laps or so, because he's going to be up front, I think, but not for these guys. Jamie Bird and Leah Anderson battling out. Jamie Bird will hang on in that instance for 8th place, but at the battle for 2nd, it's still not losing any time to John McCutcheon. Says a lot really about the pace that McCutcheon's got, or maybe lack of it at the moment, because even with the battles behind, they're still catching him at the moment, actually. 1.1 seconds now.
Yeah, they are. They're slowly closing in. They've taken out another 3-4 attempts over the last few laps, which is great for them. I think Barry may have settled down and realised what he needs to do. McCutcheon doesn't look like he had the pace. He didn't look like he had the pace from race 1. We did say he had to whiz away. He's tried, but he hasn't got the pace to whiz away. As Anderson looks like they've had a incident here as well, and unfortunately Anderson drops all the way down into 14th place. Now Maxwell's going to have a go at Buson. Buson was another one. Can he make it? Just there as well, as there was a little stutter and start between the two of them.
Well, I thought he was going to brake too late there and go straight into James Barry, actually, but he pulled it up in time, and Buson's not able to get the exit required. The challenge again into turn 4, so that's all sorted now between those two. But that's opened up a gap between Edwards and Barry and themselves, which may focus them a little bit and get them to catch John McCutcheon at the moment if they can. But I'm not sure whether they will be able to. The gap has held throughout this lap, actually, as Jamie Bird is off the road, I'm afraid. We'll have another look at that in a moment, but Damien G has also hit the curb at turn 1, and a good save in the end. Oh, well, I spoke too soon. And he's hit Paul Crabb, who's continuing to have a disaster of a day.
Yeah, Paul Crabb just not loving this. I'm wondering where Jamie Bird went off. He didn't go off far after that incident, so I'm wondering if he's gone off now down here. He has. Whoa, that was the weirdest incident I've seen for a very long time. He just seemed to turn in way early. Or was that just my eyes there?
Well, it seemed to turn in about a second too early there, which the camera angle kind of suggested to me that he didn't have any steering at all, actually, or certainly not any control of it, because he was all over the place. But I'm not entirely sure what went on there at all to Jamie Bird, I'm afraid. He's down in the pit lane now and may well be out of the race, and may well join a few others who are out of the race as well. It's been a very attritional day, actually, in race 1 and race 2. It's been incident-filled at times as well. Good racing to go with it, but there's been a lot of incidents as well, it's fair to say.
Martina Ward entered the pit lane completely on her own. Completely on her own. There was no reason for it, just entered into the pit lane, did Martina Ward, so that would be interesting. I want to see how Barry has got to work with Edwards. I think they're both quicker than the Scotsman in front, but they're fighting, which doesn't help in any shape or form, and I think that they could do a good job if Barry would just realise that Edwards is quick. You know, he is generally quick. You're putting him on the defence and you're just not working together, and that's the thing. I think for both of these guys would be working together to be able to go and catch McCutcheon. And if McCutcheon does win, I think he has literally survived because James Barry and Simon Edwards have been going at it.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason, certainly here, and they may have realised now. And to be fair, they haven't been battling for the last couple of laps and still haven't been making any inroads, actually, to John McCutcheon, so maybe they've decided that second is the best we're going to get. We might as well fight for it. He went to turn 2, or turn 3, sorry. He's going to go for it again at turn 4. Simon Edwards doesn't squeeze him quite as much as he should have done there, and it's allowed Barry the shorter line through the exit of turn 4. Now into the next turn, he's round the outside, but it's not going to happen there. He's going to go for the cutback. Will he be down the inside at the next left-hander? No. The braking zone here very short anyway, so he can't manage it, although Edwards goes very wide. An uncharacteristic mistake. Barry goes to the outside. Luke Maxwell goes through the middle. 3 wide into the penultimate corner between 3 of the great drivers in this series. Maxwell on the outside. He gets ahead of Barry. He's still alongside Edwards. Now he's got Barry back down his inside again, who go round the outside. They'll remain level over the line.
Oh man, this is not doing them any favours. It is not doing them any favours. Nearly 3 wide again with Barry on the inside this time of Maxwell. There's a big puff of smoke from somebody there, and it's not John McCutcheon, because I can tell you what, he's off down the road about 3.1 seconds. And for the man in second, the 5-time champion, Simon Edwards, he has got a big old survival rate about now. While Barry and Maxwell continue to fight, Edwards can get on his bike, and I wouldn't be surprised if that time at the front to John McCutcheon comes down, and this time behind him it starts extending here, Ewan, because I've got a funny feeling it could be very, very interesting now for Simon Edwards to get on his bike a little bit.
Could be. Booster very wide through turn 4 there, and Maxwell may well hang on here to 4th place. It's going to be outside line, and he does manage it. At least stays ahead. So good work from Maxwell. Oh, wide from Barry. Makes a mistake through the left-hander, and that's a costly one. Maxwell's down the inside, and he doesn't need a second chance. Through he goes. That was interesting, and now, yes, he is through. Into third is Luke Maxwell. Booster right on the back of James Barry as well here. Will Barry defend? Yes. No, he'll attack. Into the penultimate corner. He's not really got enough room there, and doesn't have the place either. Over the line they go again at the end of lap 14. I think that is 3 laps to go, including the one they've just begun. It seems that Edwards maybe has secured 2nd place now.
Yeah, definitely. I did say he would get on his bike. He did look. If Barry hadn't fought with him, I think this could have been Barry McCutcheon and Edwards' fight. Now Barry's trying to get hold of Luke Maxwell. We can see we're coming in. Now we've gone out. Is he going to be able to do what he hasn't been able to do to Simon Edwards all evening for James Barry? I'm expecting to see Luke Maxwell again. He's not picking up that line isn't working, and that's what I don't get. Settle in behind him, get the run out, and well, preferably don't go 3 wide down into turn 3, but he's swapped back the other side now. He's going to try and run it around the outside to hold the inside for Roush, which will be a good idea because Bousson's on his way, and Bousson's coming as well. So Barry's got to send it in a little bit hot. He's got to send it in. He's got to. There's no shadow of a doubt. He has to maintain this inside line. He has to maintain it to try and go around the outside on the run down into 8. If he doesn't do that, Bousson's coming through, and he didn't do it, and Bousson's going to be getting him as well.
Oh, is he going to get Maxwell into the penultimate corner? Round the outside of Maxwell goes Mike Bousson now, and he is going to get the room. Barry's going to go down the inside as well. This is a topsy-turvy battle with twists and turns around every corner at the moment for 3rd place in this 2nd race of the evening. Maxwell now holds that position ahead of Barry and Bousson. Just quickly on Jamie Bird, by the way, he's coming to tell us that his centre screen turned off, and so he couldn't see where he was going anymore. He says he hoped he didn't hit anyone. Well, thankfully he didn't, which is a good thing. And it would have been your fault if you did, to be fair. But either way, thankfully no one was taken out in that one, thankfully, on that occasion. Side by side again at turn 3. Barry's down the inside again, and it feels like we're watching a replay again and again. This is the penultimate lap, though. It's time to make moves and hold on to positions if you can at this stage, because there is not long to go.
Oh, he's going to try it again. Now run it. Now run it deep, deep, deep. You've got to try and get on it. Is he going to have the inside line? Is Maxwell could come over and cut him off, really, there as well. He missed that opportunity. Luke Maxwell, you had that car's whip now as well. He's going to run around the exit of Werb. Coming up now on that run down to through turn 8, the right-hander, over 9. Here comes Bousson, the man from Froome. He's used to being in a tractor. He's now driving the SR10. He's all over the place. I thought he was going to go for it there for Mike Bousson. Didn't quite get it through. Unfortunately for him, we're on the final lap of the race. Oh, dearie me, I don't know where this is going to go.
Maxwell went a bit wide there through the final corner, and Bousson on the way into the penultimate corner was boxed in there. That's why he didn't go for it. Barry does something a bit different now on the final lap. He goes down the inside at turn 1, and Bousson's going to have the run on both of them. They're in danger, though, of letting Luke Maxwell get away with that final podium place.
Yeah, he is. They're fighting, and the more they fight, the more Maxwell going to get away. You can see Edwards has got away here as well. And you can see that's exactly what we predicted with Edwards getting away here, Ewan, is the fact that now I think he would have got McCutchinson. But these two have got to back up a little bit. Oh, Barry's going to come through once more. He's not giving up, is James Barry. He's going for it. They're going ding-dong, ding-dong, ding-dong here on the final few corners at the Red Bull Ring. Absolutely stellar racing from all of them. Now the roles reverse. Barry's on the outside this time.
Yes, and he's not going to be able to go through by the looks of it. It's a long way round, but he's giving it a very good go at turn 7. He's going to run out of room, I think, even though he's got the room. Well, maybe not. He's got the shorter line. Maxwell drives straight into the side of him as through the final corner, by the way, goes John McCutcheon, who's going to win the race here at the Red Bull Ring, the second race. James Barry, though, is he going to hang on? Not quite. Maxwell goes round the outside of the final two corners, and he was off the track a little bit there as well. Barry and Boosen go over the line together. 23 thousandths between them, and Barry will just hang on to fourth in the end. They hold the positions they held for most of that race.
Oh my blimeys. What an ending there as well, as George Gonzaga trying to come up with Adam Ty and Phil Glover. Phil almost in the top 10, he's got 11th here. Go Phil Glover, my little man, as he comes over the line in 11th place. But boy, oh boy, you couldn't separate them even if you wanted to.
No, you absolutely couldn't. What a fantastic race for third. In the end, Edwards was able to get away for second place, but it was too late to catch John McCutcheon. And now that I've seen the two of them sort of going head to head in that respect, I'm not convinced he would have been able to make it anyway, even if he was released a bit earlier on in the race. But there you have it. A great race at the Red Bull Ring. That just about does it for the opening round of the Radical Race Series here this evening. It's John McCutcheon who wins by 3.5 seconds, and Simon Edwards, who was away from a great battle between Luke Maxwell, James Barry and Mike Booten. Robert Woodward recovered to a nice 6th place, and then Graham Brown, Michael LeMay, Ben Cooper and Leah Anderson round out the top 10, with Phil Glover just missing out there. He held on from Adam Ty. George Gonzaga recovered to 13th after being hit by Paul Crabb, who finished at 15th. In between them was Phil Justin in 40th. Paul LeMay was the only driver who won that down. Martina Ward, Jamie Bird, Damien G and David Walters all failed to get to the finish. Well, that was a fantastic 17-lap feature race, second race of the evening. It was great indeed, and we can talk to one of the protagonists from that great freeway battle we saw towards the end. Luke Maxwell joins us now, reigning champion. Welcome in, Luke. Good to have you with us. A good start to your season, I would say, both in terms of getting a race win in race 1 and in terms of enjoyment levels of a great battle in race number 2. Tell us about that battle between yourself, Mike and James as well, that seemed to go on for forever in that second race.
It was just fantastic. I mean, obviously race 1, I kind of was a bit lucky at the start to pull out a little gap and thought, well, I can maintain this. And then, race 2, man, trying to come through the field and having that battle at the end with James and Mike, and you just couldn't break it. I hope it was all good from a defending perspective, but oh my God, there was some fantastic driving on all round there to keep us all, battling and battling safely. So, wow, I was really, really pleased to hang on to it around the end. I'd saved a few off tracks up, thinking I'll probably need some near the end. So I was running them up quite early, trying to catch the guys up, and then thought I'd better try and settle in for a few laps and see what happens at the end. But of course, soon as we started battling, Simon was away, so it was all fighting for third.
Yeah, it was great to watch, certainly. And what about race 1 as well? You mentioned you got a bit lucky, but you seem to have the pace as well. Your qualifying lap was quite considerably faster than everybody else, actually, in that one. And you were able to consolidate the lead when you got it as well. So, how was that as a start to a season as well, where you are reigning champion, of course? How was that as a start to a season, that opening race? Yeah,
I felt a bit bad in qualifying because I think Simon and I both came up against Phil Glover, who was out on a lap as well, and I thought I'm getting a toe now, so that gave me a couple of tenths. So it was a bit of a false lap, but I think my last lap was like less than a tenth off or something like that, so I wasn't a million miles away. But yeah, I mean, race 1, it was just a case of once I've built the gap, let's try and keep it there and be as sensible as we can, and maintain the gap. But that was challenging because Simon had some good pace as well. So.
Very diplomatic there, Luke. I would have just said in the right place at the right time to get Glover's toe.
Yeah, but you feel bad, don't you? I thought, well, if I ease off, that's going to back everyone else up. So I've just got to stick it in, really, and you make use of it. So I don't. We want to qualify open and clean. But the trouble is, obviously, that many cars on track and so on, you're going to get a tow at some point. So can't complain.
Well, your heart's a little bit softer than mine. I just would have taken it. Sorry, bud.
Fair play.
Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Luke, before we let you go?
Phil Glover for the tow in quality. And you guys, again, back. I'm going to watch this one back, and I think I'll enjoy that one for sure.
I feel guilty, but cheers,
hopefully.
Phil.
Yes. Congratulations, Luke, on a race 1 win and a great battle in race 2 as well. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
Cheers, guys. All the best.
Take care, bud.
Thanks very much. Luke Maxwell there, chatting to us at the end of the opening round of the season. Let's have a chat to race 2 winner John McCutcheon, shall we? Oh dear. Yes, it's just goes a little bit slow today, but that's okay. John McCutcheon joins us. Welcome in. Good to have you with us, John, again. Race 2 winner on this occasion, but I was slightly concerned on your behalf that you were going to be caught at one stage with the others only just over a second behind you, and even despite their battles, you didn't seem to be getting away quite as I was expecting you to. Were you struggling around here, or was everyone else driving well? What would you put it down to?
Driving with one eye behind me and one eye in front of me. That was the problem. Keep an eye on the gap behind, and I was wondering what the limit on the X was. I thought it was 15, but then it flashed up 10. So I was kind of worried about that as well. And that was playing on my mind. But it looked like a cracking battle behind me. The boys were having a good fight.
It certainly was. I'm not sure whether you would have liked to have been involved with it, but you got to win instead, so that's fine. Race 1, though, didn't go quite as well. Turn 4 was where you came unstuck at the end, and I guess it circles back to qualifying a little bit. We were surprised to see you qualify where you did, especially when I saw your pace in practice compared to qualifying. There was a mismatch there. Did anything go wrong, particularly in that qualifying session?
I just didn't hook a lap up together and get caught up in traffic when I was on a fast one, and I lost half a second in the last 3 or 4 corners on one lap, which would have got me up into P2, I think. But that's what I'm qualifying for, isn't it? Can be a bit of a lottery at times. But I don't know who turned me on the first race. I've not had any apologies or anything, so I don't know who it was. They'll be having a word.
It was Adam Ty, was it? I think.
Was it Adam? Okay.
Hold on a minute. Hold on. There was a couple of liveries that people have changed into, so it could have been either Adam Ty or Phil Jocelyn. We weren't quite sure because they've got pretty similar liveries, so you might have to have a watch back on that one, Mr. McCutcheon, before you send out any scathing messages.
I will do. I'll have a look first.
Yeah, yes, probably a good idea.
It's probably just a racing incident. I get that, but at least say sorry or whatever. Make an excuse.
It wasn't anything too malicious or particularly poor driving, I wouldn't say from what I saw of the incident. So I think it's
to be honest,
generally going to be okay.
Going on there, Ewan, weren't there in that corner all at the same time? Well. It was chaotic, so I wouldn't be surprised if somebody just missed their braking point, John. To be fair.
Yeah, it was all checking up. I run wide to avoid someone, and I don't know if that caught them out, whoever it was. So.
Oh, so really, it's your fault then, John.
Just a racing incident.
It's a racing incident.
As Forrest Gump says.
That's not what you said 2 minutes ago. I'll be having words with your exact terms.
So it's always someone else's fault with racing drivers, honestly.
It would be
yeah. Anyway, is there anyone I'd like to give a shout out to, John, before we let you go tonight?
I shout out to Craig Lewis, and I hope everything's okay for him and he gets better and he's back to his old self again.
It would be, it's Craig Jones, but never mind.
Oh, sorry, Craig Jones.
Oh, John.
Absolutely. Never mind. We got there. Congratulations on a race 2 win tonight, John, of course, and thanks for coming to chat to us as well.
Yeah, thanks, Ewan. Thanks, James.
Take care, buddy.
Thanks very much. John McCutcheon there, chatting to us at the end of round 1 of the season. A double podium tonight for Simon Edwards, who now joins us as well. Welcome in, Simon. Good to have you with us as well. Were you pleased to get away from that battle in race 2 there? It was getting very busy indeed, and it was, in the end, he didn't have to take part in the final moments of the battle and fight for your second place. You eventually were able to drive to the line on your own, but were you pleased to get away from all that?
You can know the answer to that, yeah. Yeah, of course. I was really frustrated there. I thought I could catch John, but I was having to defend a bit, or at least I was having to go around the outside of James. I was letting him shove it up the inside because I knew I could get nice wide arcs. Because I'd practiced that earlier in the week, so I knew I could defend in that way, but it was costing us time. And then I just started messing up, and so just looking in my mirrors, and he nearly had me where Luke got between us down into the second to last corner. I have no idea. Did I throw anybody off the track there? What happened? I don't really know.
I don't remember you throwing anyone off the track at any point.
I think they all survived there, Simon. I think they all survived.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it was okay. In terms of the lines that you were taking, it seemed to me that, or both of us actually, that James Barry was sort of banging his head on a brick wall for a lot of that race because of trying the same thing again and again, and it wasn't working. Was there sort of what would have been resulted in a more successful overtake for anyone on you today? Because it seemed at points that you were pretty immovable in terms of that second place. Was there anything that you could do around this circuit to do something a bit different to try and make an overtake, or not really?
Where he tried it in the end, when he got me a little bit, where I got a bit flustered, where we all came together, like I say, and he might have been able to go around the outside of me in the fast right-hander if he could have held it out there, because I was a bit slower there, because I think I had the least downforce of anybody on, but I think I had the best traction of anybody as well. So even though I was slower in that little bit, I knew I could defend in all the other corners apart from T1. I was hoping nobody would throw it up the inside of me at T1, and he did eventually. That's where I started to get frustrated.
Oh, it's tricky at turn one for anyone really. Those curves are pretty nasty on your own anyway. So yeah, it's difficult through there. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Sam, before we let you go this evening?
I think I'll give a shout out to all the new members. Nice to see some new members in this session. I think there was a Ben, and Adam, or I don't know, somebody else as well.
Liam Anderson was new as well today.
Yeah, so that one as well, yeah.
You're right. Good to see a few new members here tonight in the Radical Race Series. Congratulations, Simon, on a double podium, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yep, see you there.
Take care.
Thanks very much. Simon Edwards there with a double podium tonight at the Red Bull Ring, and with a near top 10 was Phil Glover. We can chat to him now if I can operate my fingers. Here we go. Phil Glover, welcome in. Good to have you with us again for a new season. And an 11th place for you in race 2, which is a good result. How was that for you?
Yeah. Well, the second race, I mean, that kind of threw away place. I could have been 10th, couldn't I? But hey ho, that's the way it goes. A bit flustered tonight because my direct drive wheel, on the spline, the wheel mechanism fits onto a spline, and it came loose. So as I was driving, suddenly the wheel was turning and the direct drive wasn't. So I had to kind of take all that to bits, and just managed to rejoin just as qualifying was about to start. So a bit flustered then. So I didn't do very well in qualifying, but that's normal for me anyway.
Well, I was going to say, you're not. You are used to starting from the back at race 1, but I bet you weren't expecting to see someone not get away at all. I think Paul Crabb had his brake stuck on or something, as he said to us, which provided a problem. Did you actually make contact with anyone on the start line, though?
No, I don't think so. In the first race, somebody spun in front of us, and I ended up hitting them, and then the car was an absolute pain to drive. I had to go to the pits. I don't know what happened there, but I suppose race 2 was okay. I was hoping for a bit better result, but to be fair, I've only had the track. I bought it about 3 days ago, so takes a while to learn them, doesn't it?
Is this the first time then in a few seasons we've been here? I thought we'd been here before.
Well, we might have done, but I wouldn't have done it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably
Interested, yeah.
one of the ones that I've never done before, but I thought I ought to get it this time round.
Yeah,
okay.
it's a good circuit, especially for racing.
Circuit, definitely, yeah. I did enjoy the circuit. Quite quick in places and challenging in others. Yeah.
Oh yeah, as we and James was talking about, it looks very simple on paper, but I bet it wasn't to drive in terms of the racing tonight.
Yeah, nice to see some new people out as well amongst the regulars. So that was good.
Yes, that certainly was good to see as well. Is there anyone I'd like to give a shout out to, Phil, before we let you go?
You guys as always, and the people in the league. So and so we have got a race next week, haven't we? Before Christmas. I was just going to wish you a Merry Christmas, but I shall do that next week.
We've got one more on the 21st of December. So we'll see you there, Phil. Thanks so much for coming to chat to us.
You're very welcome. Catch you later, guys. Cheers. Bye.
Thanks very much. Phil Glover there, chatting to us at the end of round 1 in the Radical Race Series tonight. Well, as Phil said there, we'll be back again next week, one more before Christmas here, and it will be Imola, not the Nordschleife, as you may have noticed on your official schedules, as I was corrected earlier. So we'll be going over and staying in Europe for the second round of the season on the run-up towards Christmas. And we very much look forward to that, because it's always good to get a new season of the Radical Race Series underway again. And we have done so in style here with this track. It provided some great racing over the course of today, especially that one for third right at the end of race 2 was, great racing between those three. And I'm sure it sets the tone for a great season ahead.
Yeah, it definitely does here. I was just doing some quick maths, right, which is never normally good for us commentators. But I've got Maxwell on 56, I've got Edwards on 57, and I've got McHutchinson on 51. So it's quite tight already, and I think this could carry on for the whole of the season. You have got James Barry in the waiting room. I'm not quite sure if he wants to chat or not, to be fair, there, Mr. O'Leary.
He's a bit late, but I'm not sure. Is it because maybe just chatting with Simon and Phil?
Okay. We'll leave him in
which is possible. We'll leave him. We'll bring him in next week if he's up for it, because I'm not convinced at the moment. But yes. Lots of different finishing positions for everyone today, and it has kept things very close at the end of one round. But a very long way to go in the Radical Race Series, and I hope you'll join us for the remaining 11 rounds of this season. For now, though, we will bid our farewells. I've been Ewan O'Leary alongside James Parfitt for this opening round of the Radical Race Series, and until we see you next week in Imola, it's goodbye for now.